Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you keep healthy and keep spirit to learn. Let me introduce myself. My name is Cici Ayu Lestari. I'm from State Islamic University of Sultan Syarif Kasim Riau. Okay, let me check your attendance class first. Please give your friend's name who's absent today to me after this learning. Today, I want to explain to you about a text that may be familiar to you. But before that, I will show you a picture that I think all of you know about the picture. So please look at the picture. So, what do you think about this picture? I think all of you know what the picture. The picture is about junk food. You know what is junk food, right? I think all of you often to buy it with your friends. And then, what is your opinion about this picture? Everyone has their opinion with this picture. People's opinion about something is related to what we are going to learn today. Whether people agree or disagree about something. Today, we are going to learn about analytical exposition text. The learning objectives are to identify the definition of analytical exposition text, the social function of analytical exposition text, the generic structure of analytical exposition text, the language feature of analytical exposition text, and the last, the example of analytical exposition text. Before we start to learn, let's say Basmalah first. Actually, nowadays all people around the world have pandemic, right? So it is called analytical exposition text. So the definition of analytical exposition text is a text that elaborates writer's idea about the phenomenon surrounding. The social function is to persuade the reader that the topic presented was an important and interest topic to be discussed by way providing arguments or opinions about the phenomenon. It can provoke the readers to argue also on the topic. The text is not to persuade the reader to agree or disagree about a topic, but to create another arguments from the reader after see or read the text. The third is the generic structure of analytical exposition text. There are three generic structure. The first is thesis, the second is arguments, and the third is reiteration. The first is thesis. Thesis means introducing the topic indicating the writer's point of view. It shows the writer position. Is the writer being pro or contra about the topic? Actually, thesis is placed in the first paragraph. The second is arguments. Arguments means a serious part of arguments that aim to convince the reader. So the writer explains their arguments to support their position. If the writer being pro, they will explain their arguments why they are being pro, and if they are being contra, they will explain their arguments why they are being contra about a topic. For example, we want to explain about the danger of COVID-19. So, we will explain how dangerous is COVID-19 from the symptoms it causes to its health effect. form of the spread of the COVID-19 and the dangerous for ourselves and people in around us, and other arguments or opinions. The third is reiteration. Reiteration contains conclusion that is taken from the arguments. So in this conclusion, the writer emphasizes again their point of view. For example, from the fact above, we know that COVID-19 is really dangerous, and we need to take care of ourselves so we can protect from the COVID-19. And another example, like, I personally believe blah blah blah, therefore blah blah blah. In conclusion, the conclusion is blah blah blah, something like that. The fourth is the language feature of analytical exposition text. The first is using relational process. The process that we will explain should be related from the beginning until ending. And one paragraph to another paragraph are related to each other. The next is using simple present tense. An analytical exposition text usually using simple present tense, but if we recall something in the past, we can use past tense. But mostly, we use simple present tense because we talk about fact. The next is using internal conjunction. Internal conjunction is a conjunction that connects the two clauses, such as beside that, further, in addition, but, meanwhile, on the other hand, firstly, secondly, next, consequence, so, and others. The next is using words that express the writer's feeling or idea, such as experience, feel, know, sense, realize, think, and other, all about the writer's feeling or idea. The next is using causal conjunction. Causal conjunction means a conjunction that shows cause effect, such as a result, consequently, for that reason, because, by, due to. Okay, now we come to the example of analytical exposition text. Let's see the slide. Okay, let's see the example of analytical exposition text. We will identify the structure from the example. Reading is important. It is the title of the text. I personally think that reading is a very important activity in our life. Why do I say so? It is called thesis statement. Firstly, by reading we can get a lot of knowledge about many things in the world, such as science, technology, sports, arts, culture, etc., written in either book, magazine, newspaper, and etc. It called arguments. The next is, secondly, by reading we can get a lot of news and information about something happening in any parts of the world, which can we see directly. We can call it the supporting detail from the arguments. Another reason, reading can give us pleasure too. When we are tired, we read books, newspaper, or magazine on the entertainment columns, such comedy, short story, quiz, etc., to make us relax. The last, reading can also take us to other parts of the world. By reading book about Irian Jaya, we may feel we're sitting in the jungles, not at home in our room. So, from the firstly until the last, we call it arguments. The next, from the fact above, it's obvious that everyone needs to read to get knowledge, information, and also entertainment. Or in summary, we can say reading is truly important in our life. So the last paragraph, we call it the conclusion. Next, we will identify the language feature of the exam from the text. The first is using relational process. So after we read the example, we know that from the first paragraph until the last paragraph are related to each other. The second is using simple present tense. From the example, we can see in the first paragraph that reading is a very important activity in our life. Reading is a very important is a simple present tense. The third is using internal conjunction. Okay, we can see at the paragraph 2, 3, 4, and 5. Firstly, secondly, another reason, the last are the internal conjunction. The fourth is using words that express author's feeling or idea. So in the example, we can see at the 5 paragraph. By reading book about Irian Jaya, we may feel we are sitting in the jungles, not at home in our rooms. So we may feel shows about the writer's idea or feeling. And the last is using causal conjunction. We can see at the second paragraph, by reading we can get a lot of knowledge. So it call it causal conjunction, which explain that from the reading we can get a lot of knowledge. So the conclusion is analytical exposition text is a text to persuade the reader that the topic presented was an important topic to be discussed by providing arguments or opinions. The generic structure, there are thesis, arguments, and reiteration. And the language feature is using simple present tense, using relational process, using words that express the writer's feeling or idea, using internal conjunction and external conjunction. Okay, that's all for today. If you have any question, you can ask me in my WhatsApp. Please check your book. At Unit 4, there are 10 questions about analytical exposition text. Please answer the questions and collect to me next week. I hope you can understand the material. Thank you for your attention. Stay healthy, stay at home, and keep spirit. And finally, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi